It is Powwow.
The Powwow with Mo podcast.
What up, and welcome to the Powwow with Mo podcast. I am Mo.
I am Powwow.
And this is the 420 Smoke-a-thon. All right, not really, but we do plan on having some weed stories because 420 is coming up.
It is.
So I wanted to really blow it out like that. First thing I want to first thing I want to touch on was last week's episode. We had some tech issues. I put in the description like we had tech issues. If anyone cares to write in and let us know if in those scenarios, should we just not release the episode, or was it okay? Like it dealt with 5 minutes of shit for whatever. So anyway, let us know that. And then also I have a question to fans or listeners, how we should title the episodes. Because I have basically two ways I've done it. Like the first 10 I didn't title originally, and then I went back and added some. And then I always try to do like this and that. So one's like Neopets and Comedians or whatever that episode was, right? Where I try to like, let you know what's talked about. But then my favorite titles personally is whenever I use a quote from something we said as a title. But if anyone has a preference of what they think seems best, let us know. If not, I'm going to keep going with the quote thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my house cleaning, if you will.
For sure. So some of the recent events, I know most people probably seen the Syrian attack or our attack on their chemical plants that we believe at least, because of course there's a 100% success according to our President Trump. One thing I do want to bring up is I've seen this going around quite a bit this week is where Trump had tweeted this back in August of 2013. It says the president must get congressional approval before attacking Syria. Big mistake if he does not. And then of course he does it without congressional approval.
It's almost like he was a time traveler. And it's like he went back in time to warn himself. Exactly. But he's not listening.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many times that he has put something on a previous tweet.
Dude, if he does anything, he has a tweet.
Yeah, that's against it.
That's against it from when Obama was president.
But he's going to say because he made the decision, it's in the best course of action that needs to be done.
He was chosen by God.
Of course he was.
So, to be our president. No, but I have really a few different thoughts. Yes, it is crazy that he said that, right? And I don't think we have any business in any of these countries. I don't really think we should button our nose in. But we do already have military bases all across the world, and we have decided we're the world police. So do you just keep that going, or do you do an about face? Like, never mind, we're not. You know what I mean? That's a weird thing in general. Plus, a lot of people, like liberals, are giving Trump shit for Syria. But he is not the only country that supported this. I want to say it was like Britain, France. There's a list of like 6 countries that supported this. Russia, China, Iran, and Syria are the ones who didn't support it, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just Trump. Like, there is more people that want to do this. Now, I, in my conspiracy theory brain, believe it is because they want to put... They just want to overthrow Syria so they can put more banks in Syria. Right, I really just, at the end of the day, just think all of these theater wars are all just for financial institutions and shit. Because, like, I don't know, the whole world, all of it's crazy. It's just nuts. Yeah. And it's so crazy that you just check out. And then the fact that, like, Fox and Friends, I guess, said something to the extent of, to get away from Trump's lawyer's office being raided, they should attack Syria. And then they did. Like, there's just a lot of weird stuff, right? Yeah, where you're like, I feel like this is the only time in my life, and now we lived through George W. Bush.
We did.
In which I honestly feel like no one's in charge of the country.
Agreed. And one thing I want to bring up about this attack on their, chemical weapons. So a lot of these places have their own, defenses against missiles.
Right.
So we have our own as well. But one question I've always wondered is how many missiles are we able to defend? All at once. Because we shot 110 missiles at their plants. Or their chemical weapons.
I mean, it just depends. I think America, could take 110 missiles, no problem. In my mind, we have, this border missile thing around the country. And if someone really wanted to do some shit,
then we're good.
It's going off. But I also look at it and I've seen a lot of posts about this. I'm kind of stealing it. What if Russia bombed us because of Flint, Michigan?
I've seen that.
Or because of Standing Rock.
I've seen those as well.
Whereas if that happened, we'd be like, fuck you, this is our business. So it kind of seems like in this scenario, I'm okay with their response being like, fuck you, it's our business. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It's weird that we're the parent here and everything. I just don't get it.
Agreed. And I know because of this has caused some tension with Russia saying that we shouldn't have done this.
Oh, another thing Trump warned about. Like a few years ago, we had something of Obama says he's going to attack Syria. If I ever attack Syria, I wouldn't give warning or something, right? And then he literally had this tweet this week of, hey, Russia, get ready. We're shooting missiles at Syria. I was like, God damn it.
Because, again, it's okay for him to do it.
Oh, man.
Again, I don't want...
Weird, right, to give people warning? I assume you're shooting missiles. It's to blow some shit up.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, we do have an update this week from LV.
Oh, sweet. How's our inmate doing?
I want to say it's in episode 2 or 3 since we brought him up. And I will say, me and you talked about this before we started, he was going to be a big part of the podcast.
He was going to.
Like, I planned on every time he wrote a letter, we were going to read it, and we are going to give updates, and we are going to make fun of him on this. And he's been cool with that. But I haven't got a letter in a really long time. And he didn't get the last letter I sent him, so I will just read what he wrote. By the way, I used to get like 3-page letters. This, as Powwow can see, is a postcard. It is half of a postcard on the back he gets to write on. So it's not very much compared to what he used to get. But it said, well, the state won up the feds and gave me quite a few life sentences. I don't know if you ever wrote me back at Grady County, but I ended up busting a bunch of sprinkler heads and tearing up the kiosk and shit because the Mexicans weren't trying to watch football, and then they kicked me out of the room instead of fighting me because they're bitches. Anyway, this is all you get at Lexington, so when I get to my yard, I'll hit you up. Hope you're still doing the podcast, and what job did you find? And that is his update. I'm glad he included a story in which he wanted to watch football. The Mexicans didn't. He broke sprinkler heads and tore up the kiosk.
I don't understand how those two correlate together.
Dude, he wasn't that fucked, right?
Yeah. I think
he always had stupid ideas, but as long as I was like, that's stupid,
then he would back up.
Do it.
But I think him being on his own, making his decisions, obviously he's gotten a few life sentences. Again, breaking out of prison, that's going to do that to you.
Right. And again, he looks kind of like a mini Kimbo Slice.
Exactly. It's a great way to describe him.
He's like all muscle. And last time we saw him, he had a big old beard. He was growing like a James Harden beard. And I mean, he's an attractive guy. Everyone liked him. He's charismatic. It's just so crazy that he has a few life sentences now. And this will be about the way we correspond. So hopefully he hits me up soon so I can write him back. Or
because there's no way to write him back off of that postcard.
Now,
to me, that
the jail he is in is actually really close to where we live. Mm-hmm. We could visit. I don't know the protocol. I don't know if he has visitation.
Is he gonna get visitation?
Right. So, and again, he's always trying to be like, hit this person up on Facebook and I'll get married to an African girl for 10 grand. And you're like, I don't even want to talk to you if you're going to be trying to come up with criminal plans in jail.
Yeah,
So we're going to see how it goes. But it was good to hear from LV.
Yeah, I just think he's going to stay on his grind, period. And he's never going to stop again.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, Mosier, is that you're a huge fan of eggs.
I love eggs.
You would eat eggs, I think, for every meal if that was your one of the last foods you could have.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like if they were like, what's one food you would want?
Agreed.
Period. It's going to be eggs.
So because of that, I wanted to let you know there's 207 million eggs in 9 states that are being recalled over Salmonella.
Well, that's horrible.
Luckily, Oklahoma is not one of them. It's a farm in Indiana. And the states that are affected is Colorado, Florida, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. It says that, you just can't wash it off and expect that to go away. You need to either throw them away or return them for either a refund or a credit to that store. And this happened, I don't know when that was, 2010, I think is what it was, where there was 500 million eggs recalled due to Salmonella. My question that I have is, how long does it take for you to determine? Because isn't there supposed to be tests done prior to the shipping of the eggs, just like with any food?
I don't think they can, because you can't test the inside of the egg because there's a shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but you would figure that you would test one out of so many.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a fact. I just don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, my mind goes to, I've always been so curious why, and I've been looking up a couple times, why in America we refrigerate eggs and other countries don't, right? And it's because in other countries, it's like when the chickens birth the egg or whatever, drop the egg, they just take it and then they just kind of leave it, right? They don't fuck with it too much. And in America, like, they scrub that egg down.
And once you scrub it, then you have to refrigerate it.
And once you scrub it, it gets rid of natural protection. And then they paint that shit.
Which is why it's white.
Right. And then it has something that's supposed to help protect it a little. And then, you refrigerate it. And you're always like, I think we have more salmonella outbreaks in America for eggs in other countries. I'm not sure. But I know, like, Kubi went to South America and was like, no, they just had, like, a pallet of eggs in the corner of their house.
Get it.
Right, like,
because I get eggs from a lady from her own chickens, and you don't have to refrigerate those because and you can literally still see some of the feathers like that the chickens had left there. And as long as
where my mom's at, there's a guy. They always buy, and they're like random colors.
Yeah, like the ones I get, they're brown and green. And we actually started getting them because the Dr. Seuss books that she got my son. Yeah, the green eggs and ham. Sai wanted to do green eggs, but then he was disappointed that the eggs itself wasn't green. I had to explain to him that would be bad if they actually were.
Yes.
But I do think it's crazy, and this is some of the brands that were affected, and I believe I've heard of the Sunshine Farms. I don't know about the rest of these. It's Country Daybreak, Coburn Farms, Crystal Farms, Sunshine Farms, and Glenview, with some of the other eggs sold at like a Food Lion store. But again, I find it crazy because there's no date of when these eggs were sold. So it's like, if this was more than a month ago, in my opinion, most of these eggs are eaten.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you're not going to be able to tell us a whole lot.
I don't know a lot about salmonella. I'm not a salmonella doctor, but I feel like it's not necessarily deadly, and a lot more people get it than they realize.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just get over it.
Well, I
have to look it up.
It's just like people with eating vegetables that are pesticides.
Right.
I know so many people that just don't wash them. They just take them right out of the store, take them home, cut them up, and go from there, which is a little crazy in itself.
Right. All right. I saw a story this week. I just want to see your reaction because it's one of those things where I think it's PC gone too far.
Okay.
So basically the headline was mom suing barber shop for discrimination for not cutting daughter's hair. So basically the story was woman takes her daughter in to get her haircut at a barber shop. The guy said, I'm not qualified to cut woman's hair. I would not feel comfortable doing that. And she's suing them for discrimination.
That was my first thing is I know most barbers, at least the ones that I've went to, use some sort of straight razor and they use clippers.
Yeah. Very little scissors.
Very little scissors. And
unless you're an old white man. Old white men will use scissors.
Exactly. But I've never seen anyone, even my long hair, I don't go to barber shops because when they did mine, they just shaved the sides and that's all that they would do.
Right.
It's not like they were giving me a trim on the rest of it.
Yeah.
Again, because that's just not what they're trained on.
I don't think it's discrimination because it's like if that little girl had a bob cut, pixie cut, or whatever, those guys probably like, yeah, we can do that. You know what I mean? Like if she had short hair, they'd be like, yeah, we could fix that up. It's more of what style of hair, not necessarily your gender.
Agree.
And I think that's the argument I'd go if I was the barber shop. Be like, we have all these women that come in with short hair. We'll cut their hair. We'll fade them up, whatever. But guys come in with long hair, I'm going to say, unless we're cutting that shit short, I can't do it. Like, you know what I mean? I think they would have to go that route. But I think it's someone just trying to get rich. Agreed.
And I'm glad you actually bring that up because that was one thing I was going to bring up is there was a story done by CNN that talks about why girls can be boyish but boys can't be girlish.
Yeah, actually was going to talk about that a few weeks ago. Not the exact article, but that idea.
Yeah, and I mean, because it brings up, girls can, play baseball. They play with toy guns, Nerf. Not saying that shouldn't be done, but again, that's just stereotypically. However, there's a problem if a boy goes the other route.
I mean, my gut reaction that I just had to that is it's probably dad's faults.
Agreed. I mean,
it's because dads would never, a lot of dads would not want their boy to seem
wearing
feminine.
Jewelry, makeup, tutus, or anything.
Plenty of dads would be perfectly fine with a tomboy girl.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And their idea would rather be, we can do stuff, it'll be fun, or she'll be so boyish, no guys are going to want to date her. Right? Because some dad.
And I know some dad, like the Roseanne, the newest one, John Goodman's like, he's just going to get bullied in school.
Right.
And I understand that logic as well, because it is true. Yeah. It would happen.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with this. Like, that's why I personally don't think homosexuality is a choice, because I don't think you would choose to get ridiculed.
Agreed. I mean, my son, now, I don't let him play with makeup for one reason, because he doesn't play with it. He likes to smear it all over the bathroom. That's what he did last time.
Right.
I don't honestly...
Art project.
Agreed. I honestly don't care. If my son wants to play with dolls, that's fine.
Dude, there's one commercial that drives Koopy so nuts. It's like that Bounty it's got to be a washing commercial. And it's like the little girl, and the guy goes, my daughter loves to play princess. And he goes, but once a week.
I let her do the cowboy thing.
I don't know. The way he words it is like he's against her doing the cowboy. And so that comes off weird.
Like I allow her to.
Yeah, but
something like
every
that.
time it comes on, Koopy gets all like, oh, I hate the wording.
Agreed. So I don't know if you've seen this, but there was an initiative for California to break up into 3 separate states.
They've had a lot of those, though, recently.
They have. However, this is the first time that they have received enough signatures required by law for it to take the next step. Because the last time this happened, they didn't get the 365,000 signatures needed.
I mean, I think it'd be cool because California is a huge fucking state.
It is.
Now, politically, it'll cause a lot of... I'm sure Republicans will be down there because California normally
and that's the
one
thing
big
is
chunk.
Democrats don't want it to be because it's their golden empire of one state, and they go, it's much easier to do that than 3 empires. That's what you want to call it. Now, to me,
well, someone like
I would look at it.
I would bet like Sacramento's probably more conservative and Stockton, those areas, whereas in like L.A. and San Francisco are more liberal. So however they split it, you just have to see.
And will this also would add 4 additional seats to the Senate? To me, I look at this, if I am a Democrat, I'm going to look optimistically.
Well, it can go both ways. I mean, it just
That's
doesn't matter.
Like, you don't really know.
It kind of goes in. There's this thing I've been thinking of all week. I haven't written down, but you kind of leads into a little bit of this whole, if Trump, if you don't like Trump or you didn't like Obama, right? So like, for instance, Snappy wrote a comment on one of our episodes. It was like, us two are just blind to all the things Obama did. And I wrote back, what were they? And got no response. So Snappy, let us know anytime. And I would totally talk about whatever. I mean, my normal go-to is he didn't do enough.
Agreed.
He sat around and didn't do shit. That was honestly my gripe of Obama. So for everyone to be like, no, it's all that shit he did. I'm like, what happened? I was here the whole time. Anyway.
Obamacare.
So if you hated Obama, or if you hate Trump now, and you thought then or now they have too much power, I just feel like these 2 terms should go to show you not one person should be president. And now, I kind of steal this from Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. And his idea is basically we have a panel, and I think that's probably the way to get, like, one person really shouldn't have that much power. And it's so obvious once you have someone that is, like, for us, Trump. Like, we see Trump, like, there's no way he can have that much power. And then people that saw Obama and didn't like him, they should have thought the same thing. But the answer's never like, well, let's fix this. It's always like, well, maybe my guy will get in next time, and we'll get the power. You know what I mean? There's never like, what's the solution here?
Or like, what can we build upon from the previous person's? What can we tear down
right.
to then start anew? And you can't keep doing that every 4 to 8 years.
You can't because of other. And honestly, here's my fear. And again, I have a lot of conspiracy theorists up in my brain. My fear is that the people behind the scenes, right, that pick the presidents, you know, the whole idea, they're going to try to go, there are no term limits, and we can't just get one person in. And they can go off of, because I would agree with it, you can't be switching when people are going to switch their agendas because other countries can't trust us when we're in a global economy. And right, so they're going to be like, well, I'm not going to make a deal. You're a new person in 3 years. So, like, when you have that does kind of cause instability, but you can't say one person can be there forever. So I think the other answer is you have a panel of people. And I don't know if I don't think we'll ever get to that. I think we're going to keep the president going forever, right? But it just doesn't seem right. Also, I think this week I'm going to delete my Facebook again. Right? When we started this podcast, I didn't have one. Got it back, and I did it just to post when my podcasts come out. I do not think I'm getting any new listens from sharing on Facebook. I think everyone that has seen it has listened and knows about it. Every once in a while, someone hits me up of, oh, I need to listen to the new episodes. And I'm like, yeah, do it. That's about it. So pretty sure I'm going to delete Facebook, mainly because I just think all that shit's shady, right, that's been happening on Facebook. Plus, it only causes more stress in my life, I've noticed, than not having Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the amount of memes that came off of Mark Zuckerberg.
Hilarious. My favorite one, though, was actually against the senators. It said, no way Mark Zuckerberg left that meeting without showing every one of them how to set up their Wi-Fi. I was like, this shit's so funny.
I mean, some of the questions that they asked, like, there's so many million data points, which is like 121 billion data points. And he's like, what's a data point? Well, it's a data point. Please elaborate.
Right.
I mean, just the questions that they had were.
Well, I think both got each other. Like that one quote where the guys are like, "You want to tell us what hotel you stayed at last night?" Marcus was like, "Well, no." And he goes, "Exactly." Right. Like, not everyone needs to know your shit.
Yep.
We don't want our shit known either. But then again, I don't think you regulate it. I think you let people be stupid.
Yeah. I mean, and again, memes cracked me up this week, but with Tom on MySpace, he goes, "I never took down your posts." It's like we turned our back on Tom.
Right.
And I thought those were funny.
Well, yeah, it was some of like one retired with $600 million and never seen them again. The other sitting in Congress getting grilled for 5 hours. Who really won?
Exactly. So I do want to bring up the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
So
last night, because we're recording on Sunday, the Pelicans upset the Blazers for the first upset of the playoffs.
Yeah. So the bracket is, you've got Rockets against the Wolves in the West with Thunder and Jazz, as you mentioned, Blazers and Pelicans.
So I want to say, I would have to go back and listen. I want to say that from our predictions, mine being the most off on the Western Conference, I did not have the Blazers in at all. And they're the 3 seed. And then I had the Clippers in, and they didn't make it. I feel like I had the Nuggets. I
think you did.
Who made it that I didn't have?
I had to look.
Wolves. Anyway, doesn't matter. But for the most part, our guesses were pretty decent-ish. With Thunder swept in at the end for the fourth seed, which was
playing
awesome.
Against the Jazz. I think they have a decent chance of getting out of the first, and then they'll most likely play the Rockets in the second round. And then in the East, you've got the Raptors against the Wizards, Cavs against the Pacers, Sixers against the Heat, Celtics against the Bucks. And obviously I'm a Thunder fan because I live in Oklahoma, and that's just what I feel like you have to do here.
We're lucky to have a sports team.
Agreed.
It's honestly all there is to it.
So I feel like we have to cheer them on.
So for all these Oklahoma people, they're like, fuck them. It's like, I get it. All right, if you were like for real Rockets fan and you were like 3 years old, like die hard, do it. But like these people that are like just haters to be haters, it's like, you know how much economic stuff that brings into the state? And we have very little.
Well, you see how booming Oklahoma City's been since this has happened?
Yeah, so you got to accept them.
I mean, agreed. Just deal with it and move on. But yeah, I am kind of excited. I know the Thunder, they play tonight at 5:30.
Yep.
I am excited.
I hope I get this podcast done because I will have to take a break there.
Yeah, I am excited. I mean, we've got quite a few games today. The Bucks and Celtics play at noon. Pacers and Cavaliers 2:30. Then I mentioned Jazz and Thunder. The Timberwolves and Rockets play at 8. I mean, there's a great host of games there in a row.
This is honestly, now we'll see how they play out. But going into it, it feels like the best first round of NBA playoff matchups.
Yeah,
ever.
It's been great to me.
Like I said, and we'll see how, like, if there's a bunch of sweeps and I'm wrong, right? But I'm wrong, and so is like every talking head on sports television. It just seems like every team's really good.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Agreed.
Another thing we have here, or that I wrote down. So earlier this week, and you mentioned they passed your house, and your wife told me yesterday also about it, and that's why I was like, sweet, because I'm bringing this up on the podcast. I didn't know if you had seen them or not. There is a caravan of, you described it as
like a horse cattleman drive or something like that.
Something like that. Now, what happened to me, anyone's been able to notice, I was going down Main Street, get to Oak. There is a red light, so I stop. And then all of a sudden, these people on horses waving flags with neon vests just walking, like the light goes green. We should be going, but we can't because there's horses in front of us and wagons. And the wagons say like Ada Mules and Skinning Wagon. So there's a bunch of mules, a bunch of horses, I think 3 wagons, I think. But I was so pissed because I'm like, you're not cops. You can't just stop traffic. How about you stop at a fucking red light on your horses?
Yeah.
I don't see why you just get to walk around town like fucking traffic laws don't matter. When we all, and like there was a huge line of people and we were all pissed because it was like, why do you just get to walk somewhere with the horse? You can stop it. You can say stop. Anyway, really fucking annoying.
I mean, I'm glad you bring that up because unfortunately yesterday was build a prison in my fence so my dog doesn't get out because of this.
Right.
My dog bends my gate by about 4 or 5 inches. And and busts through the gate and goes after these horses.
Right.
Luckily, no one was injured. Because of that, we were able to get him back in, so I had to build that back up. But I was coming home for lunch, actually, that day, and they were down my road, and they were just stopped on the side of the road. And there's always people riding their horses down that road, and I have no problem with it. But I've seen all these people with their, I don't know, their wagons and whatnot. Right. And I'm just like, because some of them were in the road.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, no offense, but there's still traffic laws.
That's really my thing on all this.
That you have to adhere to.
Like, I'm on full support of you should be able to ride a horse home drunk. Right? Like, if you own a horse and you go to a bar on a horse and you get on it drunk and it takes you home, you shouldn't get a DUI. I think it's a great idea.
But you can get a DUI on a lawnmower because I've seen that on cops.
Well, you should, because you're in control.
Because you're in control. Exactly.
But, and I'm sure not everyone with the horse is like this. And I personally do not like horses, so this might play in all of it.
Yeah.
I just have never enjoyed riding them. I'm like, I don't get the appeal. But I'm like, just fucking follow the laws. Like, I would not, just like someone on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. Someone's on a bicycle and they just run a stop sign and almost hit them. I'm like, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't care if you stop that stop sign. I'll be like, good for you, riding a bicycle. Good job, everybody. But anyway, just just like,
no,
people are just idiots.
And it's annoying because, again, just because you're on a horse doesn't mean you shouldn't follow the laws.
All right, and I got 2 more rant things. I'm going to just put them all right here while I'm in my rant mode. My first thing I put here is I miss normal jeans and shorts. Like, what used to be normal for us.
Yeah.
Like, everything now is all stretchy. Mm-hmm. Because they're like competing with leggings. But guess what? I don't wear fucking leggings. I just want normal jeans. Now, I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, you can get some Wrangler and shit. I don't wear that. I've worn pretty much exclusively American Eagle jeans for 13 years now.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically all about. Like, I'll get them on clearance or I'll get them cheap. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I get. But now they got all this stretchy material, which a lot of people are like, oh, you're fattish these days, so that's probably good. It's not. It's not good when you're fat. It's opposite. Because what happens is, like, I'm shaped like an upside-down triangle. Like, my shoulders are real wide, right? And then my legs are skinny.
Yeah.
And it squeezes, and then it'll just squeeze its way down my body because of the way I'm shaped. So it just, my pants just fall down all day because it's, like, constantly just barely squeeze, and it drives me insane. And I think it's because the whole thing's stretchy, not just the waist.
Yeah, it's everything. Because
I wear athletic shorts almost every day. They don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty of the stretchy jeans, and you know what's funny is when I was looking online to buy some new jeans, it was actually cheaper to get regular jeans.
Yeah, because they're
than
better.
It was to get the stretchy jeans.
That's so crazy.
And I'm like,
I have one pair of the shorts as well that are like all stretchy. My mom got them for me, and they're like a size smaller than I normally wear.
Yeah,
and I hate them. They're like so constrict. Like, you can feel every elastic thing that's in there. Like, I don't know. It's just like it's always pulling on my legs and shit. And I just hate them. And I'm like,
they work well for me because I've got a huge butt, huge hips, and so I mean, it works very well for me.
Right. Well, they couldn't slide down.
And I think it depends on your body type. Depends on if they're beneficial or not.
I just want American Eagle longboard shorts, not like actual like the khaki ones.
No, I've got a couple of them. And first off, I don't know how many people hate on people wearing khaki shorts.
Well, no, they hate on cargo shorts.
That's cargos, and there is a difference.
That's why I switched to longboard shorts because they don't have the extra pocket.
Those extra, but I'm sorry.
But I need my shorts must go past my kneecap.
Oh yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the. I have one pair, and that's my striped pair that are above my kneecaps. Other than that, I have to have. I mean,
I walk around like my dick's hanging out, my kneecaps are showing. I'm like, oh, I feel so exposed.
Exactly.
And then you'll see some people going like 4 inches of thigh. Oh man, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, you're wearing bicycle shorts. It's something else.
Now, if you're comfortable with it, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are attracted to that. Blah blah blah. I just personally can't do it. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
And then my other little. Actually, I have quite a few rants here. People feeding ducks and geese at the park. So we have a park here in Ada. I go to it just about every day to walk my dog.
Yep.
And there are signs up. And I almost took a picture, but I didn't want to get caught.
Because there's people doing exactly what the sign says.
The sign says, like, please do not feed the duck and geese. It causes more diseases when feeding them at a plate. Like, it has this huge explanation of why not to and why it's a bad thing. And every day this week, because it was pretty warm until yesterday, there were people that were just loaves of bread feeding the fucking ducks. And one time there were 3 people next to the sign feeding a group of ducks. And I was like, what is wrong with you people? And then I saw one lady feed them French fries from McDonald's, like a brand new large order of French fries from McDonald's. And then other ducks were trying to come, and it was like this speckled chicken-looking goose. And she started kicking away the other one so that she could only feed her special one. And I was like, God damn y'all people at the park.
It is annoying. I don't know how many times and feeding them is bad in general, but feeding them bread is even worse.
Right, it's really bad for the digestive system.
Exactly, and it's like, let's just keep doing it.
Well, and the second thing I hate the most, thanks to people feeding geese, is all the fucking goose shit on the sidewalk.
Oh my God,
it's like, you keep feeding
else.
them this bread, they're going to keep shitting on the sidewalk.
And it's bad. Because it gets all over your shoes, because that stuff stinks.
One time, Koopy was walking our dog, and I wasn't there. She does it normally now because the dog's gotten stronger or whatever.
Yeah.
And Nymeria, which is my dog's name, rolled around in this fresh goose shit. Just rolled her neck all in it. Just got covered.
It stinks so bad.
And Koopy was like, what do I do? And because she had to put her back in the car. But, she's, oh, man.
Say jump in the pond. Get in there and then come back out.
So that was fun stuff. That's good. All right, 2 more random rants. Dead people aren't angels.
No, I don't.
So,
okay, I'm seeing where we're going.
I've had this rant probably since I learned all this, like 9, 10 years old, when it finally connected my brain of, wait, all my life someone's like, so-and-so died, and now they're an angel in heaven. And it's like, it actually never says that in the Bible I was raised with, right? It's like, angels are actually different. They're different than humans. Angels were created, and then humans were created. So they're not like, you don't evolve to an angel. And then it says you go to heaven once Jesus comes back and he like raises the souls from the graves and they rejoin God in heaven in Revelation. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it says. So anyway, nowhere in there is it like you die, you grow wings on your back, and you float to heaven, and now you're looking over people, right? There's nowhere in there. Yet people who follow that religion and others, for the most part, believe that's part of it. And that's a thing. And they'll be like, no, I feel my dead grandfather helping me at this bat in a baseball game. And you're like, I think you just watch Angels in the Outfield a lot. But so anyway, this week I just heard someone saying someone died and they're like, well, they're an angel now. And every time I hear that, just my first thought's like, it doesn't say that anywhere. So anyway.
But again, where we live, we have to be careful.
You do. But it's like, it's a popular myth or belief that's overtaken like this religious, like people just believe it, but it's not there, right? And I'm sure there's other examples of that. And maybe I am wrong. Maybe there's totally some in the book where it's like, when you die, you transform to an angel. But I'm pretty sure angels are a separate species, right? Like they don't have.
I don't know enough about
They don't have free will. That's what made humans different. Where like angels were made to serve God, and then humans were made with free will. So angels are just like God soldiers with no thought. I don't know. It's a lot to get into. I mean, if you're gonna make like a cool sci-fi book about it, though, you can, right? And then my last random. It's not even a rant, but I am deleting Facebook, and one of the reasons is I'm used to ad show. Like if I'm looking up, like when we done our stand-up comedian week, and I look up shit everywhere, and then I go on Facebook, and the ads are like Dave Chappelle on tour, right? And you're like, okay, because I was looking up stuff. But this one was like search result. It was a meth pipe. Like, you know the little things with the rose in them?
Yeah, the glass roses, yep.
And that was what was for sale. Like, my first item suggested for me on this little Facebook thing. Second one, microphone for podcasts. Third one, audio equipment for podcasts. And I was like, what the hell?
Bro, I told you, when we talked about NWO on here, and then the very next day, I had videos popping up of old NWO on Facebook. And I go, there's a problem.
For sure.
A problem.
But I'm just like, I mean, to be just real honest, I don't look up anything about meth or meth pops. And
oh, yeah.
I was like, what could have caused it? Or was it like my friends are and somehow like,
it's
because we're friends,
it's
right?
Like your friend suggested to buy this glass rose.
Right. So I was like real looking into it one day. So it wasn't necessarily a rant, but I was real curious because I was like, everything else matches up and I don't know where this meth pop came from.
I mean, I truly think they'd use your microphone and just whatever you talk about. Because again, I never searched about that NWO until we got done talking about it. And I also have my phone during every podcast.
Right.
And then afterward, it showed the NWO videos of like Conan and Sting coming back. Like it was the original, like how Sting joins the NWO. I was like, this is all that we talked about the entire time. Right. I remember telling I was like, this freaked me out. I don't understand it. It's freaky.
I like the idea that there's an NSA agent watching you, but they're just doing you a solid.
Just keep. Here
you
go, man.
You talked about this. Check that shit out, bro.
Just shoot me a text if there's some problems going on. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is your NSA agent. Listen, just want to give you a heads up.
I like that idea. Like everyone has their own agent.
Exactly.
All right, the last things I had. I don't know if you had any more.
I did not.
Was the entertainment stuff kind of this week. Last night I watched the Andre the Giant documentary.
I did not because we actually played spoons and dice.
Cool. Yeah, because last night I was like, pal, you should watch this.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to watch it because The Ringer and Bill Simmons with the guy who directed Fab Five, which is a 30 for 30, if anyone's familiar with those documentaries. He's directing it or whatever, and it's on HBO and all their shit's good. And Andre the Giant, for me, the only thing I really know is WrestleMania 3 and afterwards.
Is that the one where he comes out on the in the miniature ring?
Yeah.
Okay, that I just know that image is in my head.
That's WrestleMania 3. So from that afterwards, because of our age, is about all we know. So if we ever saw him, he was a shell of himself. I didn't know that. I thought he was always a slow, not very in shape guy. Because when we saw him, like WrestleMania 3, like he can barely get up and shit.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought that's how it always was. But he actually was like way more agile, and like he was pretty normal until age 16. He just kept growing, and then they caught the disease when he was like 30 of what was causing it. But he was like, "Fuck it, so God made me. I don't want anyone to mess with me." And so he just kind of took it, right? But like by the time he made Princess Bride, he like couldn't. His back was so bad and everything. Like there's a lot of stuff to him, right? And it's kind of it's just a story of his life. He grew up in France, and they kind of they had to do it quick. I mean, it could have been twice as long, easily. Like, because there were times like, oh, I want to know more, but you're also like, well, you got to
get through it.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming it's an hour long.
It's like 2.5 hours.
Seriously. Now,
you know me, I'm the type that has two screens out, and like I'll be like playing a game and watching something. When I turn that on, I did not pick up my controller, even though I had a game on. Yeah. And that was paused, and I watched that whole thing straight. I didn't get him to smoke a cigarette or anything. Like I just sat there and stared at the screen. So like to me, it was a testament. Like. Which I was also very curious of Andre the Giant. Yeah. Kubi was like, why do you care? And I'm like, I was like, I don't know. It's just Andre the Giant, right? And like, and they even get into kind of why people feel this way in the documentary. I think it's pretty accurate, but it's just really good. Hulk Hogan really steals the show. It's really cool to see Hulk Hogan because I know like everyone hates on him now. And on our extra episode, I plan on talking about his whole deal someday. But it was like the first time, I think probably you as well, and definitely me, that you've seen him be like really genuine and sincere. Like when he was talking about Andre the Giant, like he was like, when I was in 9th grade, I saw him and he's the reason I became a wrestler. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. Yeah. And then it was like, he looked up to him and literally.
And then he gets to wrestle him, yeah.
And like, I don't know, it was just like when he talked, he wasn't like, let me tell you, brother. Like it was none of that. Yeah. It was like Terry Boudier or whatever the fuck his last name is, right? Like just telling his real story about Andre the Giant. And a lot of people talked, right? Like in Ric Flair, I told you this. Yeah. When he does the interview in that was the day that he ended up going to the hospital for that emergency surgery, and he looks rough.
Does he?
He looks fucking rough in that. But I know he looks better now than he did then. But it's just really good. And do a little brief history, like a little 10-minute from territorial wrestling into Vince McMahon buying fucking everyone and that whole thing, right? And I don't know, Andre the Giant just worked a lot. He worked like 300 days a year for like 15 years straight. Jesus. And
no wonder his body was
right.
You know what I mean,
and it was just really fascinating. So if you have any interest in watching about Andre the Giant and have HBO, I like once it comes out on DVD, I think I'm gonna buy it for my dad for a birthday or something. Because I think he would like your grandpa.
I've thought about doing it for my pops whenever we talked about it because I want to see it because of that.
Well, and like Koopy was laughing because they showed like one of the old promos, right?
Yeah,
the Piper Pit where. It's where Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant finally become rivals, right? Before that, they're like best friends. And it was like the first time you saw this giant heel turn because Andre the Giant did not want to be a heel. He loved being like loved. And how like, I don't know, it was just so funny because they were so over the top. And it's everything I hate about wrestling now.
But back then,
I loved it. And like, I just was smiling and Koopy was laughing at how stupid it was. And I was like, it's so fucking nostalgic. I can't even explain it. So anyway, on to the Giant documentary. I went way too long on that. But it's super good.
For sure.
I know I talk about Atlanta a lot, but 2 episodes ago, because I forgot to watch last week's Atlanta, so I had to catch up this week. There is this episode called Teddy Perkins, believes the name of it. And Donald Glover is in Whiteface.
Okay.
And it's kind of like their ode to Michael Jackson. So like one of the characters goes to buy a piano from this old musician's estate or whatever, and it's like the door's shut, and he looks kind of like Michael Jackson, not Donald Glover, and he speaks like this the whole time, and it's so creepy, but also just one of those I couldn't look away fast. Atlanta's so weird. I don't think because you haven't seen it, you don't quite get it. Because a lot of people imagine when you're like, it's a TV show about a rapper, and Donald Glover's the rapper's cousin. He's helping managing him, but like it never talks about that. It is literally every episode, especially in season 2, is the most random shit. So like this one, like I said, the third lead in the show goes to someone's house. Donald Glover and Paperboy aren't even in the episode, and then at the end, there's murders that happen, and it's kind of like the movie Get Out. It's basically like a mini episode of the movie Get Out. It's kind of what happens. And it's so weird and crazy, and you're like left thinking about it, right? And then I watched the next episode, and that one's about Donald Glover's baby mama in the show and her girlfriends going to a party at Drake's house, and they're all just trying to get a picture with Drake for the gram. And that's what that whole episode's about. And it's really good too. But they're so it's like, how are these even the same TV show? Yeah. But there's something about that makes me love it. Like every week, you don't have a clue. Like the one before the Teddy Perkins, it would remind you so much of our friend that I want to bring up his name so bad, but you'll know when I tell the story. Where Paperboy, second lead of the show, goes to get his haircut at a barber shop, and that guy's like, well, how about you come with me, man? We go over here real quick. I just gotta go pick this up. Gotta go pick up this chick, and we'll come right back, and I'll cut your hair. And then it's like 30 minutes of him fucking running
going
around.
all the other places. I know, I got it.
Because we have friends that are black, I'll just say it. It resonated so well. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's exactly how it is. So Atlanta's just so good. So if you haven't watched it and you have the ability, I can't recommend it enough. It's so weird and good. Yeah. And then another thing I watched on Netflix, I've watched 2, I think there's 4 episodes, and I watched the first 2 so far. It's called Wild Wild Country. And this I'm probably more interested in than anything. And it's like in the late 70s. I want to say the Rashishi, which was like a guru cult, basically, right? Like I took over a town in Oregon. Like they started buying up all this land, and honestly, so far where I'm at in the movie, I'm totally on the cult side as far as their rights. Yeah. Like they have all around the world to buy this land and build shit. And people are like, well, they said it was gonna be a farm, and now they're building a hotel there, and it's like, well,
how many businesses say that they're gonna do this and change their mind?
Right. So like where I'm at in it now, I think at the end of the day, you're gonna be on the side of the locals. Yeah. Because they don't exist anymore. They're Rashishi, right? Yeah. But they were just a cult, more or less. And now I don't know the difference between a cult and a religion. I think the best explanation I've ever heard, and it makes the most sense to me, is a religion is whenever the leader is dead, and a cult is when the leader's alive. Okay. So
I don't know the difference.
Right. Yeah. So like, for instance, like everyone talks about the shit in Waco. Cannot think of their name. God damn it, I can't. David Koresh is his name. I can't remember what his little group was called. Anyway, people call them a cult because David Koresh was alive, but I feel like if he was dead, they wouldn't be, right? Like Scientology was a cult until Ron L. Hubbard died, and then they became a religion. So anyway, that makes the most sense to me. But the story...
Branch Davidians.
Davidians,
yeah.
So in this Wild Wild Country thing, they basically buy up all this land, they're setting up shop, and it's getting crazy against the locals, and the locals are trying to just disavow their town so these foreigners don't take over their town. I feel like from little things they've hinted at, it's going to end with a giant immigration scandal, and that's how it's going to end, and that would be bad. But right now, it's just fascinating because, it's just the people should have had freedom of religion to just practice their shit without people messing with them. But then again, they mess with other people. So it's like this real twisted thing. And the fact that this happened, I've never heard about it. I'm sure if like we grew up in Oregon, we would have heard about it. Yeah. But like I've never heard about this. And they built a city of 10,000 people, or like that's their goal. Like they just are bringing in busloads of people and building houses, and their city worked. And it was kind of, I'm sure it's because it was like communism. That's why everyone really hated it. But really, really fascinating about this Wild Wild Country show on Netflix, documentary series. And my last thing is I did buy UFC 3. Yeah. Because last week we went to Norman. I played the demo and liked it a little bit. And I took some games to GameStop, traded them in, and then UFC 3 was half off already. That's so quick. I was like, sure, I'll get it. Not a good sign.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Now, my kind of review of it is, if you're playing like Fight Night where you just stand up punching and kicking, amazing. Okay. Punching and kicking feels great. On the ground and grapples, very boring, very bland. I feel like there has to be a better way to do it. It's all just hold the right stick this way and then wait for a circle.
And then turn it.
Hold it this way. No, it's not even the turning like it used to be. It's
just
really? Hold it. Now this circle fills up. All right, you got it.
That's
hold it this
boring.
way. And it's really boring. Now I went undefeated and beat the story mode already with my main guy, and it unlocked legendary mode. And that one, you're like, you have no visual HUD, no restarts, no quits or anything like. So that one's gonna be a lot harder. We'll see if I can even do that shit, because I tried it once and was like, nope, that's way hard. But the game seems unfinished to me. Yeah. Like, I feel like if I was in charge of that game and I had no experience with this at all, I would be like, we need to do this, 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 and this. For instance, like your career mode the reason I'm already done is because between fights, it's just like train. And you click it and it just trains you. Like, you don't even have to go like in the gym and punch a bag, right? Like, you just click train and it just does it.
And it just does, yeah.
So it's like, I feel like you just left out a bunch of shit from this game.
We're trying to get out of game.
Right.
Trying to spend a whole lot of time developing.
I got it half off plus my trade-in credit. So I almost paid nothing for it. So I'm not like upset. Yeah. I'm like, it's a fun game. I like it more than any other fighting game.
But $60 for it.
If I paid $60, I would be pissed. And then I really, really want God of War. Eventually I'll get it. I heard it's just about 35 hours, so I don't want to pay $60 for it, but it's getting 10s across the board.
Really?
It's like a modern masterpiece. It's a one-shot camera, the whole game.
So there's no, okay, all right.
It never cuts.
That's crazy.
Like, it's always, like, even if you go into a cutscene,
it stays
your camera
in
just, and it's like, so from the very beginning to the end, you never leave
stop.
the cut. And it's like, I just want to play because I bet that's crazy.
But yeah, that'd be nuts.
So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we are going to do our little 420 stories. And then we have no emails, I don't think. We'll check. You're on our break.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do our top 5 favorite munchie foods.
For sure.
All right. All right, and we are back. So, Powwow.
So, as always, if anyone has any questions, suggestions, or corrections, please email us at thepowwowwithmo@gmail.com. That is THEPOWWWITHMO@gmail.com.
All right, and like I said, this week we do not have any emails, but feel free to, I really just want questions. I think cool questions would be the best.
Yeah.
But any comments, thoughts, or anything, really, we'll take it. So this week, because we said we want to make it like make it somewhat 420 theme, but not like overly, because we're not super like, yo, stoner dudes, look at the sky.
Right.
Know? But I think last week we told first time you did salvia.
Mm-hmm.
So this week I think we should just go with some pot stories. We have like we have so many that I would want to tell, and we will eventually. Like the first day we moved in together.
Yeah.
And different random things like that. But I think I'm going to go with first time I just smoked pot.
Okay.
And then maybe yours, and then the first time we smoked pot together the first time, because that one's pretty funny too.
Okay.
So the first time I did it, I was 18, so I was definitely way older.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did see pot the summer before my senior year of high school, and a good friend of mine, he had it out, and it looked, and I'll always remember this, it looked like those iron soap pads.
Okay.
Look, that's what it looked like to me, because I'd never seen it before, and it looked like moldy and shitty, and in hindsight, now that I've seen it, it was probably just really bricky.
Uh-huh.
And it probably wasn't very good.
Yeah. Right. That horse shit.
Right. It's probably mixed with all the horse shit. Exactly. So anyway, that was the summer before. But then besides that, no one approached me about pot or anything like that. But one of my good friends lived in Walters, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And he had moved there. And he got kicked out of his house. He had lived with his dad. So he was moving back home with his mom. He called me and was like, hey, can you come pick me up? I got to move out and all this. And I was riding back. I done concurrent classes. I done college classes when I was a senior in high school. And I was on my way back from college class in the evening and riding with my friend Andrew. I was like, yeah, man, we'll swing by and get you. And we did. We just went from Duncan to Walters, picked him up, went to Warwick.
Yep.
And I remember the argument all started over my friend Jonathan had bought DVD players for his truck, the one on the back of his truck seats.
Okay.
And his dad flipped shit. What you doing spending money on a DVD player for a truck?
Hold on. Was it his money?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then okay.
Right. That's what it all led to, right? That's what caused all this. So we picked Jonathan up. On the way back, somehow the conversation gets for me and Jonathan be like, you know what? Everyone's always been like, people are going to peer pressure you to do drugs and all this. No one's ever asked us to do drugs, ever. It's bullshit. And then I remember being like, I've always been curious to try weed. And it's probably, honestly, because I listen to so much rap music. Like, Half Baked was already one of my favorite movies. Like, there were so many things prior to me having done weed that actually lined up pretty well with the weed culture, right? So, and our friend Andrew was like, oh, my brother goes to OU. He can get us some. And what ended up happening about a week later, and it wasn't Andrew, it was this other dude from Walters, got an ounce of weed. And then there was like 12 of us that had never smoked before that all met up at the place we called the Shack, which is like, was like this little guest house behind my friend's house that we kind of fixed up. That was an old junky thing. Yeah. And I remember it tasted just like a skunk smells, and I didn't get high. Yeah. And I hated it because there were so many people, and half the people were acting fucking crazy, and half the people were acting too cool. And I just remember being like, this just wasn't fun. Yeah. It wasn't fun at all, right? So that night, I called my friend who had the weed in the summer, Justin, and was like, yeah, man, I tried weed finally, and I don't get it. Right, not a big deal to me. Didn't get high. Everyone was stupid. Wasn't fun. And he was like, "Fuck that! You smoking with me tomorrow? We getting that fire? We getting so high." And so I was like, "Okay." And so the next day, me and Jonathan and Justin all get together. We break into a friend of mine's house because they were gone for the weekend because their mom had surgery. Yeah. And I called and was like, "Hey, I need a place," and they're like, "Go to my house." And so we broke in this house, smoked weed, did not know this TV in the room we were watching, speakers were broke that caused an echo. So I got all high and we were listening to rap music, and I hear this echo and I was like, oh, the weed just makes you hear music. Oh my God. Like, and then Jonathan was like, he kept calling the space heater a spaceship, and he goes, I'm gonna ride that spaceship. And he just kept over and over, right? And then Justin, who was more experienced than us, was just laughing and was like, this is great. And we had a great time. It was super fun. And then we snuck out, and then I had to drive home. And almost all studies about, like I saw this thing the other day that shows that if you smoke, like all those tests they show of people driving and then they drive high and then they're worse, that's if that's the first time for them to be high. But like other studies show that people that have had chances to practice driving high are just as good as people not high. Like somehow you can learn shit while you're high that you can't when you're drunk, right? But this was, again, first time I was high. Jonathan makes me drive his truck back to my house because he doesn't
unfamiliar vehicle, so you got to drive that the first
doesn't
time.
Feel comfortable with it. And I do make it home. We're all good. So that was really my first time. And then, to be completely honest, I smoked weed every day until May of my senior year. That was February of my senior year. So February, April. So for 2 straight months, I went from not ever smoking weed to I smoked weed every day. And then in May, I remember making a promise to myself, I'm about to graduate high school, and literally I haven't stopped smoking weed since I came in contact with it. And I'm going to challenge myself to not until graduation. Yeah. And I didn't. So, like, good job me. But that was really my whole thing. And I had a friend named Dustin whose grandparents were super rich, and he had an open checking account. He had a checking book to their checks. So he could get any money he wanted. Yeah. And he would just buy an ounce of weed like every other day. And then all my friends were scared to hold it. And so they'd ask me to hold it for them. And then I didn't go to school in the morning because I did college classes. Yeah. So like for those 2 months, I'd like wake up and get high. Yeah. Because my parents are going to work. I know this is all horrible, but I've kind of admitted to them since. And then I would go to lunch and I would show up to high school fucking the afternoon, stoned as fuck. And then go to my college classes, and I was like, man, so I really got prepared for college there. And looking back, I was like, God damn, I was so stupid. Yeah, I done so many stupid things that like, not in a million years would I ever do now. Right?
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Even things I wouldn't have done like 10 years ago when I was like in college and finally like, wait, you got to be smart about this shit, right? But it was fun. Like I don't really have many regrets
for sure
about it. I'm like, sure, I probably regret something here or there, but in general, it was just
wasn't too great.
Yeah, and I think most people who try it later in life seem to be the type that are like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Whereas in most of the people I know, not all, but most people I know that tried it when they were like really young, they're like, well, yeah, I quit when I was 15. It's child shit, and then they rather don't ever smoke again or do any drugs, or they quit at 15 because they went to way worse drugs. It's a weird thing. So it's like you take this risk if you do.
The stereotype of gateway comes in.
Right, agreed. Even though alcohol was my first, followed by dusters and triple C's.
I'll say triple C's were the shit in high school.
Cough syrup. And the kids will figure out a fucking way.
Yeah.
That's what the point is.
So mine, I'm not really going to go through it. I think it was a little too young for most people,
Right.
in my opinion. But it is funny that I did try cigarettes, and first time I smoked weed was that very same day.
Right.
And the dude's name, his name is Kale. His parents, and unfortunately looking back on it, that was when my mom and my stepdad were just high as a kite with his parents, which is why we were allowed to pretty much do whatever we wanted at this time frame. And I remember we smoked weed first, and then he wanted me to try the cigarette. And I almost died when I had that cigarette. Because, again, I have asthma. I shouldn't be smoking anything, which is why I stopped all of it. Just it helps. But I remember whenever I smoked the cigarette that I thought my lungs were just going to collapse. And it may have just been because I was super stoned at the time.
Right.
And again...
Well, there is something for... Because I know even adults that don't smoke cigarettes, they'll, like, hit a blunt and then smoke a cigarette and hit afterwards. And it somehow help. But as someone who smokes cigarettes, it's not... I mean, that wouldn't be weird. I don't know.
For sure.
But it does something when you're not a smoker.
Agreed. But yeah, mine was a little too young. But I do want us to talk about the first time we did, which was whenever... Again, I believe this was the weekend that I was coming up to sign my letter of intent with Coach Hurt here at baseball.
All I know is the next day. So let's pretend that it was a Friday night. I think it was. And the next Saturday in the morning...
It was a Saturday.
You had to be at the baseball field to do something.
It's 7 a.m. I had to be at the baseball field.
Right. And... I mean, me and you hadn't really seen each other since camp.
Yeah.
That was the first time we'd seen each other. And we were cool at camp, but it was different.
It was.
Because you had to be like we were each other's escape from all the nerds. And I know it's mean to say, because I feel like today I feel like a nerd, but at camp I didn't.
I mean, you were something else. I mean, we were something different. They were on another level.
Well, we were just a weird melding. Like, again, like we'll talk about sports and video games, right? And they were like, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, oh, I never played that. And they're like, get out of here, you fucking jock. You're like, oh, shit. So it was weird. But, right, so you came to camp, and you had this cool Dodge Neon.
Yes,
I remember
Neon.
that. And I had this cool-ass apartment.
Yes.
And we broke, and I was out of weed. I was fresh out of weed. But my neighbor, I knew had some because I got it for him.
Yeah.
I knew where he kept it. And then we had back doors that were connected to a room. So our rooms were kind of connected to each other. And we normally just left them unlocked.
Yeah.
Right, because we didn't really worry. We had an outside door we kept locked, but just in case something happened, we left them unlocked because we were friends. And we just snuck over to his house, and we just stole his weed, basically. And we actually, no, we didn't steal it because we smoked it there.
Also, we smoked it there.
We sat on his weight bench because he was the type of guy that would have a weight bench in his
of course he did.
Bedroom. And we just smoked all of his weed for the most part. And then he didn't even get mad.
No, I mean, he ended up being my little later on.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, y'all being friends.
But yeah, it was. I do remember one distinct smell of dog shit.
Yeah, me
everywhere.
and him both had a dog, but he never bothered to potty train his.
No.
And it was just like, they can just shit wherever it wants.
And he would leave it there for a couple of days before picking it up.
More than days.
Like, it would be rock hard by the time it'd be picked up.
Yeah, like a piece of carpet would come out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't the best smell environment there.
It was terrible.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I think you made it to practice the next day. But for the most part, I
did. I got up because I remember I woke up at like 6:30. Like, shit, I got to hurry up and go. Because we stayed up pretty late that night. But I ended up going, had no problem. That was also the day that the coach told me I wasn't allowed to have a mohawk anymore. Because that was when I had like that foot-tall mohawk.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, you're not allowed to have that. You got to go get that cut.
Yep, I had a mohawk my freshman year for a minute.
I think we all did at some point in our high school.
Got to be cool.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get on to our top 5 list.
Yes.
We're going to go with top 5 favorite munchies.
Exactly.
Take it how you want it. I mean, I'm just going to say this is me trying. It's a mixture of me trying to remember what my favorite being stone snacks were.
Exactly.
Mixed with what I'm just like, oh, that's a pretty good snack.
It is ironic trying to remember and then you can't remember
yeah,
what you did back then.
Well,
like that.
I saw you last night and I was like, oh shit, I have not started my list at all. And then I went and looked. I started trying to look up stuff and I'm like, Funyuns are all right, but I think that's a weird stereotype that like doesn't fit in. Now, I did think of one that you don't have that I'm like, holy shit, how did Powwow not have that?
Well, I have 2 that I added last night.
Oh, shit, we're going to see.
We'll see if one of them's on there.
I have one that I think is so good for just Ada specific. then I'm like real excited about it. And then I've also noticed I'm definitely more of a rich, sweet, high calorie snack person.
Yeah.
Like I thought I would have more chips and shit. No, my
I don't
shit is
have
all
one
like
chips on top 5.
all sweet, deliciousness.
100%.
Now I will say, when I was in college, when I qualified for FAFSA,
Yeah.
right? And the student work program, just qualified for the student work program. And my mom worked at a DHS office for a couple weeks before she went to nursing school. She found out from just being on that, you qualify for food stamps, regardless of you have a job through them or not.
I remember that.
Right. And so you'd go in and just be like, well, I qualify for this. And they'd give you $200 a month. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's awesome. Because I fully support that. Because I think if you're going to give money to people, it should be poor students, not like methed out women. We know like there are 8 kids and all lining up. So anyway, I could afford some pretty good munchie food.
Yeah. Because, I mean, $200 back then, man, that was a gold mine.
Well, and honestly, what I did was every time is I would just go the first of the month and spend all of it.
Yep.
And then at the end of the month, I would eat like bologna and shit.
Yep, bologna, ramen, whatever.
Right. But like beginning of the month, motherfucker, we're eating like T-bones and we're eating, like, we're going hard. And I know so many people hate. There's like all those things. Like, and I agree now.
You don't get to have any fucking steaks.
Right. When people get all mad, they're like, why does a working man's fridge look like this and a welfare looks like this? And I'm like, I get it. I do
understand.
I was like, I completely get it. But it was the situation. It was the rules. Yeah. And I was going to take advantage. And I don't feel like that should be held against me.
Again, and being in college, and I mean, I haven't had food stamps since college. It does make you think, you're like, damn it, I'm sitting here spending $250 to get this. And I see your ass has 2 full shopping carts of food.
Yep.
Half of it's with meat.
Yep.
And it's like, that's like $150, $200 right there.
Yeah, man. It's great. So anyway, just my disclaimer there for when I mentioned some expensive ass things. Not all are real expensive, but all right, pal, let's go ahead and start with your number 5.
So my number 5 actually is something that you hated on for a minute with regards to how I made it, and that is strawberry Pop-Tarts with butter on top.
Fucking weird.
Because when I remember the first time I had them, and I put butter in, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not too stoned. I am putting butter on the Pop-Tarts because that's what happened. That's what you do.
And I was like, no, you don't.
And so if
I was like, you put butter on Eggos.
About this, please, if you've ever put butter on your Pop-Tarts, please respond and let me know so I don't feel like I'm the only one out there.
I like butter. I like Pop-Tart.
But you just don't put them together.
Nope.
For sure. So, number 5, strawberry Pop-Tarts with butter. Obviously have to be heated up.
Sounds like a stoner meal to me. All right, my number 5. This is the only thing that is not like a sweet dish. Because I feel like I had to get at least one in there. And I went with salsa verde Doritos. Okay. So, I think chips are great. I think all chips are great for munchie food for the most part. Can't think of any I don't like. But there's some about the spices they use on the salsa verde Doritos. They're not as spicy to me as jalapeno chips are necessarily straight up. But normally, spicy food in general is very like, I just got to keep eating them. Yeah. And then a lot of times when you eat munchy food, you just got to keep eating them. So it matches up well, right? But the salsa verde has something about their spices that literally like my tongue doesn't burn, but like I will sweat. Like my temples start glistening. And then, if you're a little high and then you start feeling that, you're like, ooh, whoa. So I think because it has some added effect to it, for sure, I think the salsa verde Doritos are the place to go. Now, if you're someone that like loves spicy food, maybe that doesn't do that for you. Yeah. But I'm like I'll do some hot wings, some salsa verde chips, but I don't do like a whole lot of spicy stuff.
It's like I don't need to eat jalapenos out of the fridge.
Right. No, I'm like Rusty. So backstory: when we were kids, I dared Rusty to eat jalapenos straight out of a jar. And it was like this big dare, and it was at my house, and he ate them, and it was like a big deal. And then like now, since that day until now, Rusty's like obsessed with spicy food, and it's all because I believe one day I dared him to do that. Now he can write in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that always being crazy.
For sure.
So anyway, my number 5, salsa verde chips. What is your number 4?
So my number 4, this is what I'm not sure if you came up with, but like with regards to what you thought that I should have on the list, that's orange slices.
I did not. I mean, are you talking about just literally oranges?
No, the candied orange slices. I don't know what they're called. I've always just called them orange slices.
Like candied real fruit, or like the candies? The
candies of orange that looks like orange slices that have that sugar all the way around it.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically like gummies of some sort. I don't remember what they're called, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I was actually laying down with my son last night, and I was like, "Oh, orange slice."
You used to. Well, we used to go to like Love's.
Yeah.
And you would just get a bunch of those, and I would get the peanut butter bars or whatever, and we'd get all this random ass candy.
For sure.
Yeah, you did. You did enjoy this.
So orange slices, number 4.
All right, my number 4, and I mainly put this because I have a fun story, and I still love them to this day. And they're a great Frankenstein collaboration, which is chocolate Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Now, in general, I love cereal. Eventually, we are doing a top 5 cereals. But chocolate Lucky Charms, so I mentioned my friend Justin earlier, the one that was like, we were smoking on fire, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So like a couple weeks after that incident, I was at his house, and he moved from Waurika to Comanche our senior year, so like for getting noticed for football or whatever, right? Because their team was better. And so I was over there, and me and him go out and get high, get stoned, whatever, and we come back, and I go into his kitchen, and I find this huge-ass bowl, probably like... It was a square
like
bowl.
a mixing bowl?
It was a square mixing bowl, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I don't know what size that'd be, or I'd give y'all a thing, like 3 quarts or something.
Yeah.
But huge fucking mixing bowl. And I poured like half a box of chocolate Lucky Charms that I'd never seen before because it was when they were brand new.
So you ice cubed a whole thing of...
Exactly. And I poured like this whole thing in there, and I poured some milk, and I was like, oh my God. All right, so here's that. And I also hate a lot of times on like stoner depictions because I'm like, you don't melt in the couch, you don't eat that much, you don't really act that stupid. But maybe for like the first month you do.
you get a little crazy.
Because I remember my thoughts of like, holy shit, this is gonna be so delicious, right?
Yep.
It was like, and I never thought that later on in life, you know, but it was like this whole euphoria of, oh my God, chocolate Lucky Charms. And I remember I go in the living room, and my friend Justin goes somewhere else, I don't know where he's at, and I'm watching some show on Animal Planet on their big screen, and this was like before everyone had flat screen, big screen, so it was like the big projector ass thing. Yeah. And I'm just watching it and eating this huge bowl, and then his mom walks in, and his mom's super cool. Like, shout out to her for not ratting me out. I'm like, call my mom on this. She didn't. Maybe she should have. I don't know. But she just looked at me, and she was like, not you too. And I go, what? And she was like, I can't believe you're smoking pot like my son. And I go, I'm not smoking pot. She was like, look at you. You have a huge-ass bowl of chocolate Lucky Charms. And I was like, oh, shit. So, anyway, I got caught. But since that day, I love chocolate Lucky Charms. They're up there, man.
For sure.
Love them.
So, my number 3 is going to be Paydays. I do remember when we were living together in the second apartment.
Yep.
Where I was like, I'm going to go get 5 king-size Paydays because I can eat all of them.
Yes.
And then I get through 2.5 and I go, nope, terrible idea. Can't feel your jaws anymore because they're just almost locked from chewing on that.
I will say something I've noticed that is different since we don't live together is there's a lot less dares in my life. Or a lot less like, I bet I can do this.
Exactly.
And it's going to be like, no, you can't. Because like, let's say right now if I told Koopy, because we were at the dollar store yesterday, right? Yeah. She wanted Reese's Cups, and there was 5 Reese's Cups for $1, and it was a sale on like these certain packages. And if you got like 20 of them over here, it was like however, like way a whole bunch. Yeah. And then this was like they were already $1. Plus, if it was buy 3 packages, you get a 4th one. So I was like, let's just get 4 packages. She was like, that is 20 Reese's Cups. There is no way. Whereas in like Chad's meeting, we'd be like, well, fuck yeah, we're getting 20 Reese's Cups. It's a good deal.
We better knock this out today.
So there's definitely a lot more of that. But yeah, Paydays were great. I remember you used to bring Paydays, you know, them all the time.
All the time, yeah.
They were really, really good. Probably the best candy bar that doesn't have chocolate.
For sure.
Easily.
For sure.
So, my number 3 I'm going with, and I think I have some now in my kitchen. I could check the name, but I want Nutty Buddy bars.
Oh yeah, the Nutter bars.
Yeah, you know they're like chocolate with little waffle wafers, and they have like the little waffle shape on the top.
And
they come with 2 in a package.
Yeah, I remember those. Those are awesome.
Fuck yeah, because I want to go with Little Debbie snacks, and I think for as far as Munchie food, those are my favorite. Because I like Swiss rolls, but they don't last long enough. And so for me, what I think puts the Nutty Buddy bar for Munchie food above it is I eat them 1 layer at a time. Well, actually, I'll explain exactly how I eat a Nutty Buddy bar package. I would open it. The first one, I peel off the top layer and I eat that like one thing. And then I peel off the next one. I want to say there's 4 layers.
I think 5. So. Year 4. There's 4.
I think it's 4. So I eat each layer individually. And then the second one, I eat normally. Real fast.
Because you're like, I can't wait any longer.
So it's like, I do this like real slow, methodical to the first one. I'm like, I'm going to really break down the flavor. And then I'm like, let's see what the creator intended. And then I eat it normally.
Gotcha.
So Nutty Buddy bars just for being, I think, the best Munchie Little Debbie snack, and Little Debbie's being a big part of my life in general.
Yeah,
including my Munchie life
for sure. So number 2, this is something I love to this day, and that is Twizzlers. I know some people it's either Twizzlers or Red Vines. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I'm not a Red Vines because they're too waxy for me. Love Twizzlers. Like I said, I will still eat them now. Since I've started working out and trying to lose weight, I don't have hardly any of those nice sweet foods in the house anymore. But Twizzlers, I had to have them on there because I would eat them all day long. I'd eat the whole package if I could.
Right. For me, I loved Pull and Peel.
Oh, yeah, the Pull and Peel ones are awesome.
When those came out when we were kids, because I wanted to say they did, I loved them.
Well, and they're like twice as big as a normal Twizzler.
Right. One, it's like string cheese with candy.
You got 9 pieces on there. I don't know why I know that, but I know there's 9 strings on there. Right. Whenever you have the Pull and Peels, and it just makes it feel like you're getting more out of it.
And so as a kid, that's what I always liked. I didn't really like other licorice. Now as I got older, like in the Munchie stage, and if we had a fucking whole box of Twizzlers in the thing, I'm gonna eat some.
Exactly.
But I always liked to use them as straws.
Bite off the end, bite off the other end, put it in there.
Sometimes with your Munchies, you want playful foods.
Exactly.
And they are.
Yeah,
and you can
agreed.
whip people with them.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stuff.
For sure.
All right. My number 2 is the one I was excited about that I thought of last night.
Okay.
That I was like, oh, shit. So in Ada, Oklahoma, the town we currently live in and went to college, they have a lot of donut shops.
If you have what I think you have on there, I've wanted to put it on the list. And is it on my honorable mentions?
No.
No? Okay.
No. So I'm going to go with just donuts.
Okay.
So you were going to mention sausage rolls.
Yep.
Could all be included in one, honestly. But so we had this thing. So like there were bars, right, that we went to a lot in college, and they close at 2. And you come home, and everyone goes to rather the donut shops to get a fuckload of donuts, or you go to McDonald's and you got sausage biscuits because it was after 2. Now, but as before, they served it all day, right?
Exactly.
And we were very much on the donut side of things.
Well, and it's also because that girl whose parents owned it.
Right. So we love donuts. Everyone in town did, but like that was really good for when you were drunk.
Yeah.
You were like, I want fucking donuts. And you mentioned sausage rolls, or that's what was on your list you were showing me. And QB loves sausage rolls as well. But there was also nothing better than being stoned at like 3:30 in the morning. And you're like, I'm fucking hungry. And you're like, well, what's open that's the closest by?
And you're like, go to the
donut shop. And you'd go in there because you'd be stoned at 3:30. And you'd be like, I want half a dozen chocolate, half a dozen glaze. What do you want?
Exactly.
And then they'd be like, and then we're gonna get 4 maple long johns, and you were always like 3 Bavarian creams. Those are your favorite.
Yes.
And then you're like, and then just mix out the rest of the dozen, and they look at you like, why are you getting this many fucking donuts, stoners? And then sure enough, you would eat like 3 or 4 max. And then you wake up in the morning with like 20 fucking donuts, and you'd be like, oh shit, I guess we gotta eat donuts.
Oh man.
So I think that deserves the spot.
I agree. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot about Bavarian cream donuts, man.
Because we guaranteed of everything on any list, the thing we ate the most.
Oh yeah.
For Munchies was probably.
I feel
donuts.
like we spent at least $1,000 or more at the donut shop.
Well, and the thing is, like, they're cheap as fuck.
Yeah, they're like 50 cents, and even Bavarian cream's like 75.
Right. It's like you want a dozen, it's $8.
Exactly. You're like, yes.
All right.
That's a great one.
They gotcha is when you want like chocolate milk or strawberry milk. You're like, well, I want one of each flavor of milk because they got lots of milk flavors.
They're like, those are $4 a piece, guys.
Yeah, that's so always really good.
That's a good one. So my number 1 is one that I would literally make a giant bowl of and eat it to myself.
Yes.
And that is banana pudding, and then you have to, if you got them vanilla wafers added to it.
Right.
I don't know how many times I would make, and it's not like the normal size banana pudding. I'd get the family size.
Yes.
Make the whole giant bowl of 2 quarts or whatever it is.
Right. You would get the one that you had to cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was one like, just
put it in the fridge and wait 10 minutes or whatever.
It was like, or this one that takes a long time, and you're like, it's what I'm doing. It's a better one.
I sit there for 30 minutes just slowly stirring this up.
Right. Because normally when we live together, like, I cooked most of the time.
Yeah.
But if you were in the kitchen, it's probably because you're making banana pudding.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it like that.
I could eat it for most meals, but I had to have that as my number 1, banana pudding with vanilla wafers.
All right. And my number 1 is similar.
Okay.
In the fact it's cream with cookie involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Bluebell as the brand. Cookies and cream ice cream.
Good choice.
I think Bluebell's the best ice cream.
Even though they had their crazy
They did.
thing
Like
go out.
Ben and Jerry's is good. So I looked up some lists. Everyone's like Ben and Jerry's half baked. I'm like, it is great.
But my problem is with Ben and Jerry's, they're expensive as hell.
Right.
Those half pints, they're as much as like a gallon.
All right. Well, I actually just got some of these like a month ago, and it's like $2.50 for a pint of Bluebell and $4.50 for a pint of Ben and Jerry's.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, well, I like it, but I don't like it that much.
Exactly.
And I don't think it's better. So, and like I try to get cookie and cream ice cream from like Brahms and other places, but their cookies are always dry. Like somehow they're surrounded by ice cream,
But they're
the
still
cookie's
dry. No, I hear you.
And it drives me insane. Where Bluebell's is like, it's mixed so well. And then sometimes you'll come across a whole fucking Oreo that hasn't been broke at all. And it's like, oh my God, this is about to be the most delicious thing I've ever ate in my life. So those moments alone, honestly, me and Stone getting a whole Oreo on a big spoon
And it's eating
is
it.
the best munchie moment there is. So that's where it's my number one.
For sure. That's great top 5. Some of the honorable mentions, you mentioned some chips, the sour cream and cheddar Ruffles.
Yes, we bought those almost exclusively when we...
And
Every week.
I think every week it was there. And then we mentioned sausage rolls. I remember, because sausage rolls with mustard, I feel like you had to have mustard because there's so much breading, at least the ones here, around this compared to the meat to bread ratio.
Yes.
It's so, you have to have some sort of liquid or something on there to help you eat that food.
And something that I do love, and it was going to be on my top 5, but I took it off because it's just a in general love, is cheesecake.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll knock out a whole cheesecake, and I'll
For
feel
sure.
sick as shit, but it was
But
worth it.
you'll eat it that entire
Yeah,
time.
I'll be like, it's going to be worth it.
Agreed.
Something else that it wasn't a classic munchie food, but for me and you, and then Chad, if he listens, or or certain people that have hung out, it'll resonate as French toast.
Oh, yeah.
I just had a habit of being like 2 a.m. and
And
being
it's
like,
not like we cook 3 or 4.
no, I do the whole loaf.
Every time we would do something, it's to the extreme. And
Right.
it would be a whole loaf of French toast. And again, my peanut butter to French toast ratio is a whole other conversation.
Right. Way too much peanut butter.
But I just remember I have like 2 or 3. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm done. I can't eat anymore.
Yes,
and we've got like 10 pieces of bread left for French toast. Yeah,
it was just, for whatever reason, it was just a fun meal to cook hot.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all want some French toast?
Exactly.
Another weird one that I personally like is cashews and almonds. So I would buy like a bag of almonds and a can of cashews and mix them together and shake it up and then eat those. Because I just think for whatever reason, those two nuts together are perfect.
For sure.
And love it.
I like pistachios.
Pistachios, we loved them. I remember like always wanting to get the de-shelled ones already, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, and you're like, nope.
You're like, I'll just do the work.
Yeah, I'll do the work to break it in and go there. And another one I have down is Gardettos.
Yeah, Gardettos are good, or Chex Mix, same sort of scenario. Gummy worms.
Gummy worms.
Cookie dough.
It's so bad, but yes.
I brought that up, and Kubi goes, I've never seen you eat cookie dough. And I go, not since I've lived with you.
Yeah, not since you've lived here.
I was like, because I don't walk around eating cookie dough rolls like salami in front of you.
That's what it was. It was walking around like you had salami.
I was like, because you're going to judge me. And she goes, I would. That's disgusting. I go, there you go.
Exactly why.
It's like, that's why I haven't seen it.
Oh, man.
Mozzarella sticks, because back when we lived together, we had a deep fryer. I haven't since we haven't lived together. And I would love making mozzarella sticks. And then my last 2 random shout outs. Frosted animal cookies.
Oh man, remember
those pink
big
and white ones?
Do you remember that thing they had in Ada where you could do the auction on TV?
Yes.
I don't know how many times I would buy because they had giant bags of.
Mark that down for a story in the future. Just that channel, because that was fun.
It was. And I spent way too much money on that
for sure. And then my last thing, which is kind of a cop out, is bowl of Halloween candy.
So
I just remember every year at Halloween we would buy all this Halloween candy. Living in an apartment where we knew no one was going to come. And then we would just eat on Halloween candy.
Yes.
All the time.
Yep. Great. Last thing I have on here is breakfast burritos.
Yes, I cook them a lot.
All the time.
I think they resonate with your brother very well.
Exactly. He talks about that all the time.
Yeah. And then the only little thing I want to bring up, and I know you need to leave here, pal, but we have a friend, Fish.
We do?
Who never hits me up on Facebook. I always hit him up, never hits me back up. I don't know what happened. But there was a time in his life he was going through some rough stuff, and he more or less moved in with me in my apartment, and we would get stoned. We were pledging at that time, so we were all getting stoned as little dumb 18, 19-year-olds.
Yep.
And he always had like cooking experiments he wanted to do. Like he's the one who taught me how to make gravy because I never knew how, right? And then he wanted to make, you can do deep fried Twinkies, deep fried Snickers, deep fried anything. And he's like, you just got to batter it and you can deep fry it. So he would make like deep fried peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I remember I had one of those sandwich makers.
Yep, I
They
remember.
would close, and he was making something crazy, and he closed Darkness's blender's cord in it, and the blender exploded.
Yes.
And started catching on fire. We were like, oh shit. So that was a crazy thing. And then I remember you, Shad, Fish, and me. I think that was all of us over there. And it was some with waffles. You might remember the story a little better, but I just remember Fish eating frozen waffles.
Yeah, well, he'd made everyone waffles.
Right.
And then he just forgot, because again, we were stoned at the time. He had forgot to put his waffles
in the toaster.
And just put them on his plate, and then he just bit into it and goes, this is still frozen. And that's when we realized, man, you never put it in the toaster. You just put it right on your plate, threw a little bit of butter on there, and put the syrup, and started eating.
And then we're like, make new ones. And he's like, no, I'll just finish these.
He just ate it.
He just ate the whole thing. He also one time was making ramen noodles on the stove. And we used to do a lot of I do egg drop soup with ramen noodles. You make on the stove, put some egg in there and swirl it around. And so we're making some experiments there. And I remember he just takes the pot off the stove and puts it to his lip and drinks it. And he's a white dude, but he's got some big old lips. Yes. And I remember just seeing it, staring at his lips, and it looked like they just seared on the
he didn't care.
And he just drank it. He goes, that's real hot.
Oh, man.
So anyway, Miss Fish, hopefully someday we'll get to catch up with him as well.
For sure.
But I know you need to go. Do you know what we're doing for top 5 next week?
Next week's top 5 video consoles.
Video game consoles?
Or favorite game consoles, yes.
Okay, so just out of all the game consoles, I say let's not include the newest. This PS4,
no,
Xbox
PS4,
One.
Xbox One. I mean, obviously Xbox One's not going to be on there, but
yeah, we don't have them.
But yeah, no, I think we should exclude those, and that we can still come up top 5.
I say we include handhelds. Give us some diversity.
I'm going to have to include handhelds because there's one that I'm going to add on there.
All right. So next week we'll do that. Again, email us.
Yeah, email us, guys, at thepowwowwithmo@gmail.com. That's THEPOWWWITHMO@gmail.com.
All right. And I guess that's all we got.
That's it, man. Y'all be safe out there. Peace.
Peace.